Which opposed the expansion of slavery and rejected any right to secession. Casualties of the Union were 110,000 deaths and 275,200 wounded in action. The Confederates' casualties were 93,000 deaths and 13,000 plus wounded in action. Spanish American War. The Spanish American War was a conflict between the Kingdom of Spain and the United States of America that took place from April to August 1898. The war ended in victory for the United States and the end of the Spanish Empire in the Caribbean Pacific.
I can't believe you, yeah, man. Pop, I need a bigger one. Tim Airport building has take one day and then you gotta change the list. I'm pretty sure I had somebody in World War II. Oh sweet! I found my gun! I thought I had somebody in World War II.
When you start thinking of the hymn books, you're going to look at, and I wanted, if I had a songbook, when I would be reading these in church, they'd say, by the Hartford Music Company. Now, when I was a child, and here I'm living in Hartford, I was even thinking that was Hartford, Connecticut. I wasn't thinking of Hartford, Arkansas, and I'm sitting in this hometown. So we would ask him, finally said, Dad, he said, well, sure, honey, don't you know that they were written here? And I said, that's when my sister and I, 25 years ago, decided that's history. My word, we're going to grow up and our kids are not even going to know this. We didn't even know it, but they all know it. They've been to the schools right here. They did all this. So that's why she and I decided, well, let's start commemorating this and bringing and letting our children. Well, now Miss Hart every year she has this museum and its history. These children, if you saw in the film there, they know the history of Hartford. They sing these songs
and they know I'll Fly Away. And
they're so excited.
Came here to hear from people in the past. So the first person that we're going to hear from is a plantation owner.
Hi y'all, I'm Alicia Warrington. Did you know that I am a very successful plantation owner? At one time, I had more than 500 slaves. The labor district provided me with a lot of money, but times changed after the Civil War. Slavery was abolished, so I had to start paying people to work in my fields. My profits sure did fall and times became very high. Oh dear, me, life was never the same, but I still survived.
So we have all of these people, but where did they stay?
Hello, I'm Promise J.A. McConnell. You know the McConnell that built the Grandview Hotel in Hartford after the horrible 1907 fire. I say his hotel started a big boom in Hartford because by 1908, Hartford had 2 hotels, 2 livery stables, a cotton gin, 4 churches, a school, and retail establishments of all sorts. By that time, Hartford was the 2nd largest city in Sebastian County and housed 4,000 people. Some say it was because of the coal boom, but I say my husband played a major part. Obviously, the Grandview Hotel was a great investment.
What did they do for capital goods?
Mrs. Henry West, a salesperson at M.M. Smith's General Store, that specialized in undertaking supplies on Broadway. He obviously knew what his customers wanted, because one Saturday, there was a demand for shoes so great, I wasn't sure I had enough in stock. But I did. I sold over 300 pairs of shoes to the local patrons. You see, Saturday was their day to shop, socialize, and enjoy some good entertainment.
All right, so we know where they got their capital goods, but what did these people do for entertainment?
Hi, my name is Mary Steele Couch. I was born in 1932. I have run the first car in Hartford, and I was the only girl member in the Boy Scout band. I loved to wear white. My father was the station master at the Hartford training club. He was very successful, and by 1920, there were 2 movie theaters on Broadway Street. A person could go to a movie for a nickel and then go across the street and watch another movie for another nickel. Since the movies were silent, I was hired to play the piano throughout the movie. I didn't make very much money, but the owner sure got rich.
Well, I wouldn't mind going to a movie for a nickel, but was there any other type of entertainment?
Hi there, my name is Jenny Lynn. I came to the town of Hartford in the early 1920s, and E.A. Patton, the owner of the Emerson's Theater, hired me the minute he saw me. He knew I would be able to make him lots of money by entertaining his patrons. Everyone came to see me sing and dance. At that time, the Charleston was the rage and floppy dresses were the style. Television wasn't invented yet, so people traveled many miles to watch live performances. You bet your bottom dollar that I made Old Man Patton a rich entrepreneur.
That's one of the trio, so now we need to hear from Mr. Brumley, but since he's up in years, it might take him a while to get to the mic.
Good morning, my name is Albert E. Brumley. I'm the most successful American gospel song composer of the 20th century. You might have heard some of my songs. I've written I'll Fly Away, Turn Your Radio On, and many others. I studied, lived, and worked at the Hartford Music Company. My parents were sharecroppers, so money was scarce. When I was 20, I arrived penniless at Ian Bartlett's doorstep. He offered me room and boarded by the 1940s. He was earning $200 a month as a songwriter. I used those profits to start my own publishing company, Albert E. Brumley and Sons. And possibly it was a good investment.
Well, nothing's complete until you start talking about the Hartford Music Company, but I don't know as much about it as Mr. Bartlett does.
Good day to you. I am Ian Bartlett. I received training as a music teacher in 1918. I created the Hartford Music Company. It was so successful that a few years later I opened a straight note school. Then I started publishing a monthly magazine called The Herald of Song. In 1939, I had a stroke. And during that time, I wrote Victory in Jesus, one of the best love gospel songs still sung today. I was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee in 1973.
The last person we need to hear from is Mr. McCline, But he could not make it here today, but I'm told that his better half is here. So let's see what his wife has to say about him.
Hello, I am Minnie McClung. Did you know that I was married to John Alexander McClung? Boy, oh boy, he was a good man. We had 6 children and he was smart too. He graduated from Hartford Music Institute and then became an instructor. Later he invested in the company and became co-owner with E.M. Bartlett. In 1931, he bought the Hartford Music Company and remained the president of the company until 1942. I told you that man was smart. In April 1992, he was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. I heard tell that our daughter Thelma has brought her traveling museum, and you will meet her at Station 3. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Best thing in the world could happen is to teach these children what their heritage is, and this is their heritage. And most of them didn't even know that Hartford even had a publishing company.
Here, you know this vacant lot that's just right on this other side down at the end used to be the Just a Rose Will Do Cafe. Well, that was named after my daddy's song, Just a Rose Will Do. When it burned a lot of artifacts that we had down there. But that's where the original building was, where they had printing presses and all that. Now, the way they did it, who would know what this is? Would you have a clue? You know what that is?
Oh, like music.
It's music. It's how they printed it. Hold your hands. I want you to pass this around. Ready? It's heavier than you thought, wasn't it? This is not one of Daddy's plates, but this is how they made it. This is how they published the music. They set the type, and then they would send it off. I think Chicago's where they sent it, and it would come back in this heavy metal plate. And they were all destroyed for the war effort. They melted them down for the war effort because of the lack of metal. And so there were only 2 left from Hartford, Arkansas, and they sent both of them to me. And I prize them. I wrap this up in a diaper thing because to me, it's just as precious as anything else. But there's 2, and the other one is at the museum. And this is the original, this is his stock, where he bought into the Hartford Music Company. And I tried to cash it in one time, and Bob Brumley about had a heart attack. 1922, $100. Should be worth something, don't you think? I told him I'd take 20s. And he, ooh! And these were the certificates, the way they would give them out. This is before Mother and Daddy were married. And he was a professor, his name with E.M. Bartlett. And he got a higher score than my mother. So, certificates. That's just like a diploma. But this is their workbooks. And this one was E.M. Bartlett's. My father, J.A. McClung. Yep. John Alexander. So. Okay, hi. Hi. Is this more fun than school or what? Yes. That's what I'm thinking. This is from the Hartford Music Company. I'm TJ, or Thelma Jean. Was a McClung. Anybody know where I used to live?
I do.
No. I used to live right across the street from your school in that big old 2-story house that's coming apart. Well, it's kind of sad. It belongs to the school, but I was born in that house. That's where I live. And this is where 90% of the stuff went on. With the Hartford Music Company, as far as housing students that would come from all over the United States. Parents would send them for 3 weeks, twice a year. And they would come from all over the place, Nacogdoches. They come from They came from almost as far as New York, and they would teach their children how to read music, how to play music, how to write music, how to do harmonies. The Hartford Music Company taught all of this, even how to play trumpets, how to play a harp. They had teachers for that. My mother was into the harmony. She taught harmony, and she taught piano. And this is where Daddy was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame. And I had the privilege of going out up and receiving the award, and I got to wear the medallion, but I had to make a speech. And I don't like making speeches. Anybody in here like to make speeches? No, I don't either. It scared me to death. These are all big shots, and I just was intimidated. But anyway, he was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, as well as Pigeon Forge at Dollywood. Now they've got a big theme park up there, but they also have the Gospel Music Hall of Fame Museum. Now the Hartford Music Company actually started out as Central Music Company. 1908 is the oldest book for Central Music Company that I have there, and it's in Little Rock. And Little Rock started sending their material here to Hartford to do all their publishing and printing and getting all their stuff together. So the next book has Central Music Company, Hartford, Arkansas.
City life just ain't for me. I'm like a boat tossed out at sea. I long to find a distant shore, wandering lost, hoping for more. There's a calling in my heart to run on back and make my start. The old home place, my ma and pa, it's all a part of Arkansas. People there walk in the street, they shaking howdy when they meet. Children play among the fields. All around them God is real. Yonder there's the courthouse lawn, where they raise the flag at dawn. A prouder sight I never saw. It's all a part of Arkansas. Catfish frying in the pan, mama breaking beans by hand. Pray the weather holds until the fall. There goes pretty Mamie June, I'll be a-courting her real soon. It's all a part of Arkansas. All day long while mama sings this gospel song.
We're going to talk about why school's important to farmers. We're going to talk about how farming equipment has evolved over the years, how it's changed over the years, and we're going to talk about farmers.
Hey, up Edwards, this is a 1941 tractor. This belongs to one of our farmers in the county. His name is Mr. Ellison. Mr. Ellison, if you would raise your hand so they will know you. Thank you, sir. It is 1941. And even before we had tractors, they would use plows, or they would use hand tools, but they could use plows that had a mule or a horse in front of it. And they would turn the soil over, right? And make that soil soft so that they could grow crops, and so that they could feed their families, and so that they could sell it. Now, before the tractor, do you think that a farmer, well, there's a plow right there. Mr. Hart, would you like to tell them anything about them?
Well, that belonged to my dad. It's probably in the neighborhood of 70, 80 years old. It was pulled by mules, and Dad also owned a tractor similar to this, so he progressed from that with mules to this, and he had plows that would mount onto the back. And I think he even used this with a tractor to pull a trench one time for a gas line. So back in the 80s he did that. So you can see where the plow shoe has been worn. Plowed a lot of fields over the years.
Girls and boys, any of you remember great-grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, anybody using like a mule or a donkey? Or Mark, you've seen that? Tyler, you've seen that? My grandpa he called it a jenny. He had a little mule that, he had a little jenny that he would get out there and he would plow by hand like this. But wouldn't this have been much easier? Absolutely. So we've progressed now to the tractor. It's much easier. Much easier. We can cover a lot of ground that way. Plant lots and lots of more crops. And then if you look at the wagon that we have, that wagon's around 90 years old or older. Mr. Harp said his dad rode in that when he was little.
Yes, from Abbott to Mansfield on a dirt road. They did not have Highway 71 at that time.
That was their transportation. Yes. So
my mother told me she's rode on a wagon like this from nearly Greenwood to Mansfield and back in one day. Too. They used this was their mode. Back in the 30s, 1930s.
Better than walking, wasn't it? Quicker than walking. So would you prefer to ride in a wagon or in a car? Automobile. Okay, probably most of you would.
Every month you can get them to eat, and this one is. And this is what you have to do morning and night to keep it alive. He's getting rid of it. He's hungry. He hadn't had any breakfast this morning, so he's hungry. And then you start feeding them a little pellets and grain and keep along, then they'll start eating grass and then they'll survive. So that's what you have to do sometimes. So.
It's hard. It doesn't hurt. He doesn't have to eat yet. He's just a baby. Goodness. I'm going to wipe it on you, Tyler. Man up, son. Come on. It's just a calf. You want a petty, girls? You want a petty?
Looking at it. Oh, I'll get that plug in for you.
I take him home, put him in my yard, like he's been cooking for a while.
Okay, now my hand is.
Yeah, it's all right. We'll do that. What's his name? What's his name again?
Y'all notice the hogs have got notches in their ears? They're not born like that. That's an identification. The deer tag number is looks like it's around, it's got a 2 9s, that's 18 and 2, plus a bunch on it. It's around 33 dash 12. That's its number.
There's the head, there's the tail. He looks the same at both ends. So if you have an adult worm, your adult's going to have that band right there, that band. If you have a baby worm or a juvenile worm, a kid worm, he will not have that. Okay? So you must say, well, how do you tell one end from the other? You have to just let it crawl because they're always going to crawl forward. Okay, there's the setae. You can see what that would look like if we had a microscope. It would be really neat if we had a microscope, wouldn't it, Miss James? So they can actually look and see that there. All right, there's his mouth. Notice again where the band's located.
Its hearts are located at the front, and the worm will die quicker. How many hearts do they have? 5. That's right. Oh, let me show you a baby one, Mark. That's not a baby. That would be a teenager. Want to get your baby back there? Look at this, Mark. About the size of a grain of rice.
The friends.
This is very sweet.
Oh wait, never mind.
It's right here.
It's an adult exhibit.
Did you find an adult?
2 of them.
Did you find some kid worms?
No. Because I can't find no cocoon.
That is a cocoon. Awesome.
I can't find no cocoon.
See that?
Look here, girls and boys. Look how tiny that one just hatched.
It is. Okay, see that right there? That's clear. It is tiny. That one has already hatched. That's the jelly. This one has babies in it. And they your other paper plate and cover up your worms. Remember, they are light sensitive. They do not like to be.
Arkansas is so awesome. All right? By raising your hand, who can tell me what this is?
The Arkansas flag.
The Arkansas state flag. Give me an air high five. Air high five. Very good. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a big round of applause. Very good. This is Arkansas state flag. Now, who can tell me by raising their hand what shape this is?
Diamond.
A diamond. High five, girl. Very good. Pat yourself on the back. Give yourself a big round of applause. This is a diamond. Now, why on earth would Arkansas state flag have a diamond on it?
Because diamond is the state mineral.
That's the state mineral. It's the state gem. But you're close. Yes, Arkansas state gem is the diamond, but that is because we are the only diamond producing state in the whole United States. That means we are it. Our state is the only state that can produce diamonds. That's pretty cool, huh? Now, when diamonds are found, these are not real, these are fake. When diamonds are found, they're cleaned and they're cut, and they look a little something like this. We'll start here, and we're going to kind of go in rows, all right? Then this one will go down this row. This one will go down this row. This one will go. Okay, so our state gem is what? Diamond. Our state gem is what? Diamond. Very good. We also have a state mineral. And do quartz.
Quartz.
Crystal.
Crystal.
I need to hear everybody. Quartz.
Quartz. Crystal.
Quartz. Crystal. What's our state mineral?
Quartz crystal.
What's our state mineral?
Quartz crystal.
Very good. Now this is what quartz crystal looks like.
Wow.
Has anybody ever been to Hot Springs?
Yeah.
And have you seen the rock shops on the corner? They've got all different colors, shapes, and sizes. Those are all quartz crystal. You can even go dig for quartz crystal in Mount Ida. And we have a state rock. Our state rock is called bauxite. Can y'all say that?
Bauxite.
Bauxite. Now bauxite is super important because it makes aluminum. And this is what bauxite looks like. So this is our state rock. What is our state rock?
Bauxite.
What is our state rock?
Bauxite.
Now let's keep going. We have a state tree. Our state tree is the pine tree. Raise your hand if you've ever seen a pine tree. With pine needles and pine cones. Yep. Okay, that's our state tree. We have a state flower. So our state flower is the what?
Apple blossom.
Our state flower is the what?
Apple blossom.
Very good. Did you know that Arkansas used to produce lots and lots and lots of apples? But our climate changed. Does anybody know what the word climate means?
No.
It means weather.
Oh.
What your weather's like. Our climate changed, so we don't produce as many as we used to, but we still produce some. In Lincoln, Arkansas, they have a big apple festival. We have a state bird.
Megan.
Mockingbird.
Our state bird is the mockingbird. What is it?
Mockingbird.
Mockingbird. our state bird has a super special talent, is that it can mock or mimic or sound the same as other sounds around it. Most of the time it's mocking other bird sounds, but it can also make the same sounds as other things around, like a dog barking, things like that. So that's a super special talent. No other bird knows how to do that, do they? When a mockingbird is not mocking other things, this is what it sounds like. It's a mockingbird whistle. Now, everybody at the same time, let's hear your best mockingbird sound. Go! Listen all those mockingbirds. Keep going. Very good. Our state butterfly is called the Diana Fritillary. Very good. Now, these butterflies live mainly out in Mount Magazine, and you can make most of the time see them only during the summer months. We have a state insect, and our insect has a super special talent that no other insect has. Our insect is the honeybee, and it makes honey. So our state insect is what? Honeybees. What is our state insect? Honeybees. Beautiful. Okay, now we have a state beverage, and our state beverage is milk. Yes. Where does milk come from? Cow. What sound does cow make? Moo. That's good, cow. All right, now milk comes from the cow, goes to the grocery store, and then gets all the way to your house. So what is our state mammal? What is our state mammal? Very good. I'm a white-tailed deer. Alright? And I'm at white-tailed deer recess. And I've got all my friends behind me, and we're in the forest, and we're just trotting along, having fun, and oh no! There's a hunter or something that can danger me ahead. But if I make any noise, he's going to know that I see him. So I've got to warn my friends behind me, right? So what do? I raise my tail up and I show that white side to everybody behind me, and that signals everyone back there that there's danger ahead. That's pretty cool, huh? That he knows how to use his tail like that. This is a pink tomato. Our pink tomato is our state fruit and vegetable. Alright, what's our state fruit and vegetable? Potato! Pink tomato, not potato. Pink tomato, what is it? Pink tomato! Very good. I said potato. We have a state nut. Our state nut is a pecan. Is it real? Yes. No, these are not real. But our state nut is the pecan. What's our state nut? Pecan! Very good. We have a state grape. Our state grape is the Cynthiana grape. Cynthiana grape. Cynthiana grape. So our state grape is the Cynthiana grape. Cynthiana grape. Okay, we have a state grain, and this is very important. Our state grain is rice. And did you know that Arkansas produces 97% of the whole United States rice? Wow. That's almost all of it. So almost all the rice that goes around the United States is from Arkansas. And particularly this brand, this is Riceland. This brand comes right out of Stuttgart, Arkansas. So what is our state grain? Rice. What is our state grain? Rice. Perfect. Okay. We have a state cooking vessel. And our state cooking vessel is the Dutch oven. Can you say that? Dutch oven! Now, how you use this is you can stick it down in your campfire. You can hang it over your campfire. Or you can stick it down in your campfire and put hot coals on the top of it. It just depends on what you're wanting to cook. So what is this called? Dutch oven. What is it called? Dutch oven. Very good. Now, we have a state instrument. Listen, boys and girls. Our state instrument is the fiddle. Fiddle. What is it? Fiddle. The fiddle. Now, the fiddle ties directly into our state dance. And our state dance is a square dance. Now, I need everybody, do y'all do the bubbles in your mouth? Yeah. Everybody put a bubble in your mouth. I need everybody to put a bubble in their mouth. I'm going to pick you a partner, and you're going to stand up, no talking, and we're going to do a real quick, short square dance. You two are partners. Go stand together. 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 Okay, face your partner. Raise your right hand. And what does a pirate say? A pirate goes, arr! Arr! Okay? Now, y'all just watch. We're going to demonstrate. Now, with a square dance, the most important part is they have somebody that's called a caller. And the caller holds out all the instructions. We're going to start like this. And I'm going to say go. In the music, we're going to skip around in a circle. And then I'm going to say switch, and you're going to stop. Switch sides and go the other way. 1, 2, 3, go! Okay, real fast. What is our state gem? Crystal. Diamond. What is our state mineral? Crystal. Quartz crystal. What is our state rock? Bauxite. What is our state tree? Pine tree. What is our state bird? Mockingbird. What is our state flower? What is our state butterfly? Diana. Matillary. What is our state insect? Honeybee. What's our state beverage? Milk. Our state mammal? Deer. White-tailed deer. State fruit and vegetables? Very good. State nut? State grape? Cynthia. State grain? Rice. State cooking vessel, the Dutch what? Very good. Our state instrument? And our state dance? Very good. Everybody give yourselves a big pat on the back and a big round of applause. You now know all your state symbols. That's it. What do we say? Thank you. 1, 2, 3, go!
City life just ain't for me. I'm like a boat tossed out at sea. I long to find a distant shore, wandering lost, hoping for more. There's a calling in my heart to run on back and make my start. The old home place, my ma and pa, it's all a part of Arkansas. People there walk in the street, they shaking howdy when they meet, and children play among the fields. All around them God is real. Yonder there's the courthouse along, where they raise the flag at dawn. A prouder sight I've never saw. It's all a part of Arkansas. Catfish frying in the pan, mama breaking beans by hand. Pray the weather holds until the fall. And there goes pretty Mamie June, I'll be a-courting her real soon. It's all a part of Arkansas. Cotton all day long while mama sings this gospel song. That heavy sack dragging the ground, I bet I picked 100 pound. Work that load to the gin, pay those banknotes once again. It helps a man to stand up tall. It's all a part of Arkansas. In my mind I wander back to that little shotgun shack, and And if I could go back now, I'd jump right behind that plow, work my hands till they bleed, like my daddy did for me. To make a life I'll scratch and claw, it's just a part.